Page 39, Prelude in A minor. Starting chapter 3. On page 38, they give you a warm-up there. 6/8 time. I don't like warm-ups. If you want to do it, you go ahead. I mean, warm-ups have their place. I'm not totally against them, but at this level, I see no point. I just want to do the piece. Some teachers say, oh, warm-ups are important. You got to do it. You got to get in the habit of warming up. All right, fine, you go warm up, but I'm going to do the piece. At the top of the page, they talk about DCL Fine. I'll talk about that a little later. I want to go through the system that I use for learning a piece of music. I look it over and I see it's a page long, or at least it's a page of music to learn. The piece is longer than that, but we'll talk about that later. Treble bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature, which means we're either in C major or A minor, because those are the keys with no sharps or flats in the key signature. Which is it? I don't know. Look at the end, which is the bottom. Here. You're ending here. I'm guessing this is an A minor. Do the scales on both. C major and A minor scale, I have videos on it. You've heard this lecture before, blah, blah, blah. Okay, go do that thing. And 6/8 time, so an eighth note gets a count. That explains all the eighth notes. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we know what the hands are doing. The right hand, it comes in the first measure, you have the A minor chord. And then the left hand plays the next note, and then the right hand plays the E. That's LH and RH, okay. There's other fingerings, but we'll just do this. This is fine. And then the third measure. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rest. Second line is very similar. Third line, you're down here. You've moved here. You have rests in order to get down here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the left hand plays, and then the right hand plays, and the next measure you come down 1 to the C chord. Measure 15, you back up. And then measure 13, you back up. And measure 15, you back up here. It's an A, okay. Then the last line, you come down here. 1, 2, 3. And during the rest, you come up here, same notes. Well, same letter names. Okay, left hand, you're starting out with the A chord, A minor. And then you play the A up here. We'll pretend the right hand is here and I gotta go over it. I'm too lazy to put my right hand up right now, but just pretend there's a right hand. And you come down, and then back down, 5/7 chord. That is a G, D, okay. So it's a 1, 2, 3, rest 2, 3, 3, tie 2, because that's 5 counts on that end. And then you do it again, second line. Third line, measure 9, down here. Basically the same thing. D, and then C. Get the idea? Okay. Put the hands together. So now when I first put the hands together, I'm liable to hesitate all over. I don't care. I just want to know which fingers are going down together. So here it's just eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And as I'm playing this, I get the left hand over. So it's here. 2, 3. The left hand comes back for the 5/7 chord. And as I play the D, I come up. 1, 2. Rest, and do it again. Second line's very similar. Go to the third line. It's the same pattern, just different notes. So as I play one hand, I move the other if I need to. Let's go down the last line. You're down here. 2. 1, 2, and as I'm playing this, I get the right hand up. 1, 2, 3, and the last note has an 8/8 under it. You go down an octave. You can play it with any finger. I usually play it with fifth. I don't care which finger you use. If you have a short keyboard, play the lowest A you have. It's close enough. So once I get the hands working, then I go back over it carefully and get rid of any hesitations so it's a steady beat throughout the whole thing. Then I can think about the articulation. It's slurred. You connect it. And then lift up. Like a new phrase. You're lifting up, like taking a breath. Of course, you have to lift up for the rest. That's pretty much it all the way through. the last note at the bottom, this note down here, that has a staccato, just real short, not loud, just short. We'll cut loud later. In fact, it's later. Let's talk dynamics. At the beginning, mezzo forte are sort of loud. It's going to be the melody, but the first two measures, it's all melody, so it's here. And then that's loud. This needs to be soft. Light on the chords. And then second line, you're going to echo that. You come down to sort of soft. This means the left hand's very soft here. Measure 9, you're loud. Then measure 11, come down a little, sort of loud. Measure 13, you have a crescendo. You're going to get loud at measure 16. You have to plan it out. Don't get loud till measure 16. We're sort of loud here. In my opinion, if you want to come down a little bit to sort of soft, that gives you more room here. And do it like a measure at a time. A little louder. That's loud. Okay. And the last line, you're sort of loud. And then loud. Whatever. You have to make your own decision on how loud is, or sort of loud, or whatever. Depends on your situation. You decide on those. Then the speed. Moderato is kind of tricky because it's not always the speed of the beat we're talking about. It's the overall feel of the piece. Slow would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of slow. We don't want slow. Fast would be, we don't want fast. It's kind of fun. Well, no, it's got to be somewhere in between. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that seems kind of fast, but when you think about feeling it in 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, that's kind of slow. So we have to kind of find somewhere in between them. You're balancing them out. Somewhere in there, in my opinion, that would work fine. You don't want to go that fast, that's fine. We'd all play it a little bit differently. You take it at what you feel moderato should be. Now let's talk about this roadmap thing, or where do you go when? Because a lot of times you just start at the beginning and you just play through it. You're done. A lot of times you don't. This is the time when you don't. That's where that DC all coda comes in at the top. DC, if you remember, means go back to the beginning. So when you finish measure 16 here, when you're done with that measure, you go back to the beginning. Just here. All coda means go to the coda sign, then go to the coda. The coda sign is the circle with the crosshairs, and that's at the end of the second line. They have the words to coda. You don't need the words. They've got it. It's nice. It's the sign you're after. When you finish measure 8, second time, then you immediately jump down to the sign at the bottom, the coda. You link the signs together, and you just start with. So you come in here as you rest. At the end of the second line, to go down the bottom, your left hand's got to be here. You get the left, or right hand's got to be here. Get the left hand out of the way here. So you here, and as you're playing this, then you can get the left hand where it needs to go. So I'm aiming one hand at a time. I'm doing this, and then I'm getting this hand. I'm not trying to get both hands in position immediately. I just want the hand that plays first to go be there, and as I'm playing that, then I can get the other hand in place. And the beat has to be a steady beat. Don't mess up the beat or hesitate just because you move the hands. Practice the hand move if you have to, but a steady beat. Now on top of all that, they've added pedal. Isn't that nice? You don't need pedal on this piece. You can do it just fine. However, they've added it, so let's talk about it. It's going to be lag pedal. That is, the pedal goes down right after you do your thing with the fingers. But when you lift up, well, that's a matter of interpretation. At the beginning, I push the note down first, then the pedal. And they're showing lift the pedal after you play the notes in the third measure. Here. If you want to hear the phrase, the little silence, you have to lift the pedal up with the hands. There, so it's interpretation. Do you want to hear the silence or not? It's up to you. I like the silence, so I usually lift the pedal up with the hands. Again. So now the third line down, now you're going to pedal all of this together, and you change the pedal right after you play the notes so the pedal overlaps. Let's measure 9. And you change it. It's one way of interpreting it. If you want to hear the 8th note rest, lift the pedal up with the right hand so you hear 1 beat of rest. So measure 9 that way would be. It's interpretation. That's why different people will play the same music different ways. They interpret it differently. You or your teacher will decide how you want to play that. I like to hear the rest, so I'm going to lift up for the rest. That's just one way of playing it. Please don't copy me. You take it at your speed. You experiment with it. The pedaling, change that if you feel, whatever. Just, you make it yours. Let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the pedaling because you can hear the notes better if I don't pedal them. All we're doing is checking notes and rhythm. Not doing the louds and soft, just notes and rhythms. I'll give us 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. 2, 4, 5, rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, rest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. 2, 3, 4 to the last line. 2. 2. rest, 2, rest.